Hello, and welcome back to Speak English Daily. I'm your host, and today I want to share with you what it's like to live in the city, what I see, what I hear, how I move through the streets, and what makes urban life exciting, stressful, and beautiful in its own way. I live in a mid-sized city. It's not as big as London or New York, but it's full of energy. Every morning when I step outside my apartment, I'm greeted by a mix of noises: the hum of traffic, distant sirens, footsteps, conversations in many languages, birds that somehow survive in the trees near the roads, and of course, the smell of coffee shops already brewing their first batches. The street I live on is a typical urban street. It has apartment buildings on both sides, a couple of bakeries, a tiny flower shop, and a newsstand that opens earlier than everything else. There's always movement, even at 7 a.m. You'll see people walking quickly with their headphones on, some still half asleep, others dressed in running gear, ready for their morning jog. You can feel the pace of the city even before you've had your first coffee. When I go to work or meet someone, I usually walk or take public transport. One of the things I appreciate about city life is the convenience. I rarely need a car. Buses, subways, trams, they're all available and they run frequently. Of course, public transport isn't perfect. Sometimes the trains are late, or there's a crowd so dense you feel like you're part of a human sandwich. But over time, you learn the rhythm of the system. You know which carriage is less crowded, what time to avoid, and where to stand on the platform. Walking is my favorite way to explore the city. On foot, you notice the small details: a mural painted on a wall, a lost glove on a bench, a new cafe you've never seen before. I like taking different routes to the same place just to see what's changed. The city is alive, constantly evolving. Shops open and close, buildings are renovated, and there's always some kind of construction going on. The city has its sounds, smells, and moods. In the early morning, it feels sleepy and soft. Around lunchtime, the sidewalks fill up with office workers, grabbing food or taking a break in the park. The noise level rises. You hear horns, delivery bikes, conversations, and sometimes street performers playing guitar or violin. I love that. I love how art and chaos exist side by side. Evenings in the city are a mixed experience. Some neighborhoods come alive after dark. Bars open, lights glow, music spills out of open windows. Others go quiet, almost deserted. I enjoy walking at dusk, when the sky changes color and buildings reflect the last bit of daylight. The city becomes something different, less rushed, more introspective. On weekends, I take the chance to explore other districts. I like markets, especially the ones that pop up only on Saturdays or Sundays. They're full of fresh produce, handmade crafts, secondhand books, and interesting people. You'll see families shopping, tourists taking photos, locals chatting with vendors. It's one of the few places where strangers talk to each other easily. Cafes are also a big part of my city life. I often go to the same ones, not because they have the best coffee, but because they feel familiar. You recognize the barista, know where to sit, and understand the rhythm of the place. There's something comforting about that. I order a coffee, maybe a pastry, and either read or do some writing. Sometimes I just sit and people watch. Cities are made for people watching. Despite all its advantages, city life can be exhausting. The noise never stops. There's always construction somewhere, public transport can be frustrating, rent is expensive, space is limited. You wait in lines more often than you want to. You miss nature, silence, stars in the night sky. But the city offers something else: connection. You're surrounded by people, energy, stories. You can be anonymous or known. You can meet friends easily, discover events, join clubs, and hear music from around the world. Everything is close if you're willing to look for it. There are days when I long for a quiet countryside with green fields and no traffic. But then I step into a bookstore hidden on a side street, or I hear a jazz band playing in the park, or I see an old man feeding pigeons outside a train station, and I remember why I love the city. It's messy, loud, and overwhelming, but it's full of life. Sometimes I spend entire afternoons walking without a destination. I wander down alleyways, stop in small shops, talk to strangers. Once, I ended up in a tiny art gallery I'd never noticed before. The artist was there, talking about his work. We spoke for half an hour. I left with a small print and a new story to tell. That's the magic of the city. You never know what's around the corner. It could be frustrating traffic, or it could